It's July 9, 2025. I'm Todd Dunn. Today, I'm back aboard Seaquestor to work on the next step in getting the boat ready to use. And today's project is pretty simple. The plan is to commission the water system on the boat so that we have running water. My wife won't spend any time on a boat until we have running water. So it's pretty simple. It's 2 steps. I have to fill the water tank and then flush the non-toxic antifreeze out of the taps, which, you know, you just basically turn the water on, let it run until it's no longer pink. But when I winterize the water system, one of the things I do is I don't want to fill my water heater with non-toxic antifreeze. You know, it's expensive, and it takes forever to flush that stuff out. So what I do is I bypass the water heater and drain it. So what I have to do to fully recommission the water system is, once I've flushed the non-toxic antifreeze out of the taps, I have to go down in the cockpit locker, which I'm sitting on right now, and reconnect the water heater so that I can fill it up and have water for hot water. And that's important because the water heater is plumbed into the engine cooling system. So in effect, it's part of the engine cooling system, and when it's empty, it's not very efficient, and it could actually be damaged if we let the engine get up to full temperature with no water in there. So yeah, so I'm gonna have to go into the cockpit locker and hook it up. It's not a big deal, just 2 hose clamps, and reconnect the hoses. But yesterday when I left the boat, I blew my back out somehow while I was on board, and I had a very unpleasant night last night, and I'm hoping that I can go in and out of the cockpit locker without that happening again. So I'm gonna do 2 stages. I'm gonna fill the water tank and flush the taps, and then, depending on how my back feels, I'll go connect the water heater and finish the job. If my back goes out before I get to that point, I'm not going in there. Now, I don't think there's really anything wrong with my back. I didn't do anything to it yesterday, but I think the steroids that I'm taking are what are causing my lower back pain. So, you know, it could come back at any time. So anyway, hopefully I'll get that done. Now, after I get the water system commissioned, the only thing that really remains before we can take the boat out sailing is to put the Genoa on. I'm hoping that if my back holds up today, I can do that tomorrow morning. It's supposed to be basically a very light east wind. The boat is facing east, so that's ideal for putting the Genoa on. And the only issue with that is, if my back is going to be wonky, yeah, the Genoa is heavy and bulky and kind of a pain to wrestle around, and if my back goes out, that won't be fun. So I'm hoping that it'll hold up and I can do it tomorrow morning, and then we could go sailing on the weekend. The only issue with that is that Friday I have to drive my wife into the city because she is having a medical procedure in one of her eyes, and as a consequence of that, she's not going to be able to see for several hours. So she cannot drive herself to the eye surgeon who's going to do the procedure. And so I have to drive her in and out. And if my back is a mess, the several hours of driving won't be good for me. So, you know, if it looks like my back is not going to cooperate, the Genoa will have to wait. Anyway, let me get the hose hooked up and fill the water tank. I think that my back will be able to tolerate that. Well, filled the tank. The hardest part was connecting the hose to the faucet, which is actually flush with the dock. I had to kneel to do it, which wasn't too bad. The only issue is it's really hard for me to stand up when I kneel on the bionic knee. I managed, but it wasn't easy. And I twisted my back a little, so I'm waiting a little before I go down and try to go in the cockpit locker. And I flushed all the taps, so that's done. Just top up the tank, and I'll see about going into the cockpit locker to connect that water heater. It's hot on board today inside the boat. I think I'm going to pop the forward hatch to get a little air flow through here. Well, I got the cockpit locker opened up and emptied out. So the next step is to go in there and do the reconnect of the water heater. My back is sort of saying, don't do it. My head is saying, just get it done. Yeah, I know I can get in there. It's always harder getting out. So it's a question of, am I going to crawl down in there and do it and then try to get out? I'm sure I can. What I'll do when I'm worried about that is I run a line down from up on the mizzen mast that I can use to pull myself up, which I think I'll do. And then I can get in. The only thing that's going to happen is I'm pretty sure my back is going to hurt, but that's the way it is. It's got to be done. If I don't do it today, I'll have to do it tomorrow or over the weekend. So I might as well just do it, and then the system will be ready. The only real negative right now is somebody came by and turned my water off, which means I have to get off the boat, walk back up to the tap, turn it back on. It's kind of a pain because once I fill the water heater, my tank is going to be down by about 10 gallons. So yeah, I don't want that. I'd like to have it full so that it will, stay full for longer and I won't have to fill it again for a while. So anyway, yeah, I don't know who turned it off. I think somebody from the marina came by, saw that it was on, didn't know that I was on the boat, and shut it off. So anyway, yeah, that's a pain, but that's what happens sometimes with overzealous marina employees. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna bite the bullet and go into the locker and get that done, and then figure out how the heck I'm gonna get out of there. Okay, time to just do it. Well, that's where I'm going. Hard part is getting back out. I think it won't be too bad getting in. I just have to try and avoid twisting my back. So, time to go. I've taken everything out of my pockets so nothing can fall into the bilge. The only thing I have in there are the tools I'm going to need. So, yeah, gonna just do it. Well, it's done. Getting in was easy. Getting out a bit more of a challenge. Just because it's a tight spot. And since the knee surgery, my right knee doesn't bend as much as it used to. It's quite difficult to get into a spot where I can push myself up. Fortunately, the rope that I rigged came in handy and I was able to just pull myself up. And my back is not saying, "You're crazy, don't do that again." Well, it kind of is, but I don't have to do it again unless the hose connections I made leak, which I'm going to find out by turning the system on and filling the water heater. When that's done, just have to go fill the tank again and the system will be commissioned for 2025. I hate going into that locker. I need to do something to make it so that I don't have to. Of course, to do that, I have to go in there again. So anyway, we'll see. This fall, things should be better. Should be able to get in and out of there more easily. Anyway, it took a lot out of me to get out of there. So anyway, I'm going to cool off for a minute and then we will go get the system fully commissioned. Well, it's done. Water tank's full, everything's stowed, and just have to get the Genoa on, and the boat could use a good scrub because it's still pretty grubby on top sides from being in the shed for the winter. So anyway, another day aboard Seaquestor, and yeah, the fun part of the season, getting the boat ready to sail. My back came through it pretty well, so I'm hoping that tomorrow morning I can come over here and put the Genoa on. I am a little out of breath because the drugs I'm on are messing up my blood chemistry, and I'm currently a little anemic, so it doesn't take much to wear me out. But you know, I managed to do it. A 30-minute job took me only 2 hours. Yeah. Part of that was procrastinating because I didn't really want to do it. But anyway, the water system's ready. And my wife can come on board the boat and she can run water to her heart's content until she runs the tank dry, which she will do because water conservation is not one of her things. Anyway, thanks for watching me struggling with this. It's getting old stuff, and being sick is no fun, but I manage despite that. So, time to go home and crash and just kick back and upload this video. Thanks for watching.